What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim, and I wanted to talk to you guys about my new favorite healer in Heroes of the Storm, Aurial. Now, Aurial is a kind of hybrid healer. I would put her more in line with like a Tyrande type healer, where she's not going to be your primary healer. Maybe even Tassadar would fall into this category, but she's because I don't think she has enough to carry the entire load on herself the way a Lili or a Malfurion or an Uther do. But I feel like she does a little bit more siege damage than any of the other healers, which is something that I like doing, and this game definitely is going much more towards siege damage and lane control, also with a little bit of healing and a little bit of CC mixed in all into one. So I'm going to go ahead and talk through her talents for a little bit. Just to let you guys know, this was a pre-made group except for me. I had no idea these guys were going to team fight in the middle. I was not even paying attention for the first 30 seconds or so of the map, and I was like, wait a minute, where the heck is everybody? I'm up here by myself. By the time I realized it, I saw that they'd already broken off, so I just stayed to soak, so whatever. Anyways, let me go over her abilities really quickly, and then I'm going to go over my talent build and kind of talk you through this match and explain to you why I think the build that I'm using for her is one you definitely want to consider. The first ability she has is her talent ability, which is Bestow Hope. You basically put an Abathur hat on somebody, and every time they do damage, you regenerate some of your energy. Now you'll notice my energy is that bar below my health bar at the bottom. I can regenerate it on my own doing attacks, but when I hat a hero and they do additional damage, it goes up even quicker. So for that reason, you don't want to be left alone with her because you're gimping yourself naturally. Since all of her, since her better ability with the healing, the Ray of Heaven, which I'm going to talk about, that's a primary offense part of my build, relies on me doing damage and other people doing damage. If I'm by myself, I'm gimping myself. Sacred Sweep, that's what you see me doing the most often. That's where you sweep with your arc. You do more damage in the center. Ray of Heaven is my healing ability, and Detainment Strike is a pushback ability, which if collision into terrain occurs, a little more damage occurs. You can also spec that to do some damage. Let's talk about my level 1 talent. I go with Searing Light. Now there are some other options in there, but to me Searing Light is the primary focus of this build. Searing Light gives you the ability to have your Ray of Heaven hurt not only enemies, but heal allies simultaneously. So you don't, very similar in a way, if you recall, Uther has an ability where he can heal people for damage instead. The nice thing about this is Ray of Heaven is a large AoE heal. So you can not only hurt everybody in the bubble, you can also heal everybody in the bubble at the same time. It's great to cast on yourself when you're surrounded by minions. It's great to cast on your tank when he dives in, or ETC when he's getting ready to do a mosh pit. Anybody that is kind of going to be in the action, you want to put this column down on them, and it hurts everybody. It doesn't do a significant amount of damage, but let me tell you guys, it does enough. And when people don't expect that, your healer is going to be doing a moderate portion of damage. Sometimes it's enough, and it's also a great chasing ability. It's got a pretty nice radius on it, so there are times when somebody is chasing, you can drop the your healing on them and actually kill them, which is really, really cool. So I highly recommend for this build you focus on this and understand that you're going to be doing as much damage as possible with your primary attack and with your heal. You notice we already went up to level 4. I like to go with Majestic Span. Now, there are some other options here on this talent tree. I like Majestic Span because it increases your sweep radius. The other one that I consider sometimes is Repeated Offense, and that is actually a quest that stacks up your Detainment Strike to do more damage. However, because I primarily focus on laning, because I feel that Heroes of the Storm has gone much more towards laning than anything else, I've now realized that I want to be doing as much damage as I can to minions and pushing and clearing creep as much as possible. And for that reason, I feel the talent that I chose, Majestic Span, gives me the best opportunity to do that because I'm hitting a larger area. I'm hitting forts, I'm hitting walls, I'm hitting multiple things. And the other nice thing is you don't always necessarily have to be butted up against a minion line to use it, although since the most damage does occur in the center, it's the most recommended. But if you're hitting it from a side, or if you're hitting a group, a camp or something, if you get stuck on cleanup duty, it's always really good to have more area damage. You're going to get your energy quicker, which is going to allow you to heal more, which is going to allow you to do more everything you need to do. So it's very important to keep in mind. The next talent, Empathic Link. She stores 20% of damage taken by allies with Bestow Hope, which is really nice. Again, I think you're going to want to have as much energy as possible. So to me, I feel that is the #1 ability. I don't know. Energized Cord is okay, but since it is primarily focused on your basic attack, I don't find I do a significant amount of basic attacks with her. I feel like I do my my main attack and then I fly away. I don't really find me standing there doing auto-attacking, because I pretty much always open with the Sacred Sweep and then I immediately leave. So I guess if you wanted to be hardcore and tweak my build a little bit more, you could switch out Empathic Link and take that, take the talent to give yourself just a little bit more energy with the Energized Cord. But I think that you're going to find you're better off going with the ability I chose. So we're going to fight down to the next shrine here. And you'll see, again, just the amount of damage you can do with Sweeping Strike. Sometimes it's enough to knock these little minions out. It's definitely enough to get your energy up, to get more healing going. The more people that are bundled up, the better in this build. I think a quote-unquote harder counter for her would probably be a Kel'Thas or a Jaina, who has a lot of AoE attack, because it just so happened, again, it was in a pre-made group, and I guess they kind of knew how this build worked, but more often than not, you'll see them lump themselves up together, which is great for me, because I can heal everybody in one shot. Obviously, they're huddling around Brightwing, who has constant AoE healing, so they're going to naturally want to be around her anyway. But it was an added bonus that I had so many people kind of circling around me, because it allowed me to heal everybody even more, and I thought that was really, really cool. So keep that in mind. You know, you're going to get one shot. When you heal, it's all your energy. It's not like you can use a little bit. It's not like you can use a lot. You have to determine when the best bang for your buck is. Does it make sense to just shoot off a bunch of little quick heals, or do you want to wait? Now, I don't know the theory crafting behind what the best amount is. I can tell you that it does not seem to scale as linearly as I thought it did. In other words, the higher it is, it seems like you do significantly more healing than if you did a small amount of healing over and over and over again. And I think that's something mindful to kind of consider when you're playing her and how you want to heal with her. I think you want to have a full tank as much as possible, and you have to pick that perfect time. There you saw my healed Brightwing, almost half tank, which at level 11 is a pretty fair amount. My ultimate, I always go with Crystal Aegis. I think Crystal Aegis is the bee's knees. Surprisingly enough, on this game, I don't really use it. I think I used it once at the end, and unfortunately, I didn't even get to use it as a way to save somebody. I don't feel that Resurrect is that great. It takes too long to channel, and it's far too easily interrupted. Crystal Aegis allows you to have that oh crap, and sometimes it's enough to put a bubble around somebody so that you can get your heal ready. You'll see at the very end of the game, I try this with Kel'Thas. I try to take a heal, and I try to bubble him and heal him immediately. I wasn't successful in it, but I think that's probably the best way to use it. You could also use it on yourself for a small amount of damage if you want. Keep in mind, though, when you are using it, the hero that you've selected can't do anything. So you don't want to piss people off, because this is one of those abilities where I think you really quickly could. If you're using it improperly, people are probably going to be a little frustrated with you and say, geez, I was in the middle of doing something and you interrupted me. So I'm always leery on when to use it. I was toying with the idea of using it on Illidan, but because of his self-healing because he was using his ultimate, I felt like I didn't necessarily need to. But I was very mindful of it, and I thought, maybe I should, but I ended up letting it go. Probably could have used it there with limited success, but again, keep in mind, you are going to interrupt whatever your hero is doing at that time. So don't be a dick about it. And don't grief your own teammates. At level 13, I like Blinding Flash. Blinding Flash will basically blind someone if they're hit in the center of the cone for a small amount of time. Converging Force is nice because what it'll do is it'll push everybody into the center, which is good if you have, like, if you want to start off like a wombo combo of some sort, and you kind of want to like tee everybody up maybe for a Falstead shot or a Thrall ultimate, you could probably do something like that. But I like the blinding because more often than not, the person I'm hitting, everybody's charging at anyway, and the blind is a really, really nice kind of opening CC type move, if you want to think of it that way. That'll do a little bit of damage. So to me, that's the best talent I think you could take. So again, you know, not many healers, I think, outside of maybe Uther, Kerazine probably. I guess Tyrande would have some limited success. Can really kind of bounce so quickly between an offensive role and a defensive role. And yes, it is minor offense. I mean, you see me auto-attacking these guys with limited success. But what I'm really trying to do is get my energy up so I can go out on there and drop some of those bomb heals. And I keep going off and checking on my teammates, and they really don't need my help. I mean, we're starting to pull ahead, level lead, and everything like that. But I love the flexibility that Aurial brings to the table. I like the fact that she can be the X factor, and sometimes it's just that little bit of damage that does the difference. The other nice thing is with her generation of how she actually generates her resource, she can pretty much sustain indefinitely when put in the right situation. And something I want you guys to notice, now we're going 12 minutes into this match, I have not hearthed once, I have not hit the well once. Well, maybe I hit the well once at the beginning, or maybe I can't say that. I definitely haven't hearthed. I never leave the battlefield. I'm always a presence. And it's that little bit of extra soak in the lane, it's that little tiny heal I do, it's that little stun here, that little stun there, that adds up over time. And no other hero other than Uther who can hit and slowly, you know, generate back some mana, not even at the rate that she can be that amount of sustain as a healer. Everybody else, how many times do you see out of mana, got her hearth. And I think this part right here, this last few minutes, is a perfect example of that. I think you're going to see how much sustain that I'm capable of with the team and how we just don't leave. We just continue to nag and fight, and we do not leave, and we stay and beat them down. I love taking Reservoir of Hope next. I love the fact that you get more energy. It gives you bigger heals. It gives you more damage. It is just a great ability, especially when you want to pull up. You'll start doing some monster heals endgame, bringing characters up 3/4. You'll see it when I'll show you when I hit it one time. Look how fast I get my energy, and I cast it down here in a second. And look at Kel'Thas. He's got a full tank. Now, he's out of mana. And, you know, he's going to have to figure out what he wants to do. I mean, I think he's just going to stay and kind of auto-attack a little bit. But I'm going right back in. I'm just going to, you know what I mean? Like, I could just say, you know what, I'm going to stay in here. I don't need you guys. I mean, that is what I mean with how you can keep healing and keep fighting and just staying in the fold. And it makes such a huge difference. And again, here at the end, we just don't leave. Ever since we got that last shrine, we just push and we just stay. And you can see here, now we're getting, enemies are taking hits. We're standing at the core without any help. There are no minions around here other than Rexar and Misha. We're just standing here getting blasted. And thanks to the amount of healing that I'm able to do, and thanks to the amount of me just kind of floating around and sustaining, we never leave and we just grind them down. I think you're going to see here in a second, when the core starts taking serious damage, that's when Kel'Thas, I try to use my Aegis on him to keep him up, and then heal immediately, and it doesn't work. I probably could have waited a little less. The level 20 ability, I'm not a particular fan of on Auriel. I don't think any one of them does anything really great. This one gives you a little bit more of a shield, I guess, when it shatters, but I don't know. It doesn't seem that important to me. That's the only hero I could say that 20 doesn't make a huge difference on. I feel like you really get your money with Reservoir of Hope. I feel like each time, you know, you're building up your maximum energy, trying to get it to that point with Quest. I feel like that's where you really are doing the most work, because now you're going to start getting energy much quicker. Your heals are going to be much quicker. And if you think about everybody else's level 20 modifier, their level 20 modifier does exactly that. I think this is where Kel'Thas is about to die. The level 20 modifier is where you really have the most impact of the game. And I don't feel like with her level 20 it does that. But there you have it. We're going to just crush him down here. Go ahead and put the Aegis on. Immediately have a heal. He dies. I heal him half a second too late, unfortunately. I tried. Nobody's perfect, although I'd say this game was pretty darn close. But there you have it. A very dominated one-sided game. But at least you get to see a little bit of how Auriel works, what makes her so useful, and what I really like about her. I'll just show you my stat page here quickly so you could see. Never once hearth back. You'll notice I'm not the best at Siege, although I'm pretty high up there. Hero damage, obviously, is where you're going to take a big penalty with her. But my healing was pretty comparable to, you know, their Auriel, which, okay. Brightwing, obviously, is going to do a lot more. Again, not a primary healer. Not a primary healer by any means. And you look at this just by the numbers, and you might say, well, geez, you know, we didn't really... you know, you didn't really heal nearly as much as Brightwing. What a waste of time. But think about all the sustain that we had. Think about all the lane presence that we had. You know, you look at the siege damage and you say, well, yeah, obviously Brightwing is there. I mean, our hero damage is a wash. So, is it worth cutting your healing in half for your siege? If so, then I highly recommend you try this build that I detailed for you guys. I'll put a link in the description below. Try it out. Tell me what you think. I think she is a really fun character. She really fills that itch that I had when Uther betrayed me. Anyways, that's all I have for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.